Here we go. Brand new episode of the podcast, the Mike Herrera Podcast. That's my name. I am your guy. What's up? If you want to call in, leave me a voicemail, a message. You have a topic, an idea, something you want me to talk about, something you want to talk about. Hey, the number 360-830-6660. If you're outside the country, the USA, dial a 1. I don't know what it is. Sometimes you still have to dial a 1 when you're like across somewhere. But anyway, welcome to it. It's great to be here. The shows were amazing. MxPx was in Santa Cruz and we were in San Francisco. Both sold out. San Francisco was definitively sold out. Santa Cruz was just like the last second. But thank you. The crowds both nights were insane. Santa Cruz went off right away. Like this crowd started, boom. And San Francisco didn't start as soon. Like they were a little more like watching what we were doing. But by the second, third song, San Francisco started moving and it was insane. It was insane. It's so cool to be doing another show at the Fillmore in San Francisco, because that's a legendary place. It's got a real piece of history, of rock and roll history. Tumbledown opened for Social Distortion there. MxPx opened for Joe Strummer there. So like a lot of really cool moments have happened there. We've also played their headline there as well. And I think it was the Good Charlotte open for us there. Maybe it was Slim's. I'm not sure. But there's just been a lot of cool shows in San Francisco. We played the Warfield a couple times. One time with The Offspring. Another time with, I think, Simple Plan when we co-headlined with them. So the Fillmore, always awesome. So thank you, everybody that came out to that show, both shows. It was insane. Shout out to Baby Huey, DJ Huey down at 107.7 The Bone down in the Bay Area. Man, it was cool to do an interview with him last week, and also got to meet him and say what's up. We had met years and years ago at Warped Tour when he was just a kid and I was just a band guy. I guess I'm still just a band guy, but always cool to meet people that have been doing it a long time. And no matter how big of a fan Huey is, I still respect him as being somebody that's talking about punk rock, that's playing punk rock at his job, on his radio shows, and interviewing all sorts of musicians and artists, including punk artists. So very cool. Somewhere along the way I got quite a few bracelets. This one was actually 100. My daughter made me this, but I keep all these bracelets when people give them to me. Don't walk away. Somebody gave this to me last year. Thank you. It's so cool. I got a Waco Punk bracelet. I know you're not going to be able to see the details on this stuff, but this one says Left Coast Punk as well. So I got a couple Left Coast Punk bracelets. I've got this one that says Sylvana. I think my daughter made this, and it has something to do with Stranger Things, and I'm not sure. But over the weekend, somebody asked me to put on the bracelet, but then they wanted it back. So I didn't get one, I think, from this weekend. But thank you all. Anybody that ever gives me a bracelet, I do keep them, and I appreciate it. So thank you. Another gift, at the show in San Francisco, we did a meet and greet, and I got stickers, I think, from thirstbot.org. It's a sticker set. I got a couple of these, so thank you for the gift. Very cool. All right, you guys. We should get to a couple things, but before we do that, it's going to be Music Monday, so I'm going to play some songs, some music for you. But because of Music Monday, I also want to let you know Find a Way Home is still our latest full-length album. This is the vinyl. It's black vinyl. We've got different colors in the MxPx.com, the Merch Arsenal online store. But thank you, everybody that's been listening to this. Add it to your music libraries. That means the world to us. We'll get into that, more of that later. We also have our latest vinyl release. It's a 7-inch, split 7-inch MxPx 100 with direct hit 110, and they're brothers and sisters songs, and check that out. You can get vinyl while supplies last. Appreciate that. All right, you guys. Shout out to Cole Roberts, of course. His artwork is great. Let's get to a couple shows. We just finished up in NorCal. Awesome shows. Thank you. Coming up in March 26th. That's a Thursday night. MxPx and the Ataris will be at 930 Club in Washington, D.C. And then Friday, March 27th, the Norva, Norfolk, Virginia. MxPx and the Ataris. Get your tickets. Don't wait. We'll see you there. It's a great venue. Both of those venues are great. I played them both. Saturday, March 28th, the Fillmore, Charlotte, North Carolina. This is probably something like a house. I don't know what the Fillmore used to be, but I don't remember this Fillmore being here all that long. So it'll be interesting to check out this venue. If it's called the Fillmore, it must be a decent venue. So come out. See us Saturday, March 28th in Charlotte, North Carolina. Bob's going to be there, I hope. I hope Bob's going to be there, producer Bob. Bring all your kids, bring whoever, bring your wife, bring them all. All right, Sunday, March 29th, Charleston Music Hall in Charleston, South Carolina. That is the last show. It's a Sunday. We don't play Sundays very often, but I promise it won't be a late show. You'll be out of there by, I think, 11-ish if you need to be. And if you want to stick around for the meet and greet, definitely by 11:30 midnight. So let's go. All right, you guys. Coming up in April 11th, Mission Ballroom in Denver, Colorado. MxPx, Goldfinger, Zebrahead, and Homegrown. Tickets are going fast. Please do not wait. Get your tickets to that Denver show. A lot of people are going to be traveling from out of state because this is kind of one of those shows that don't happen very often. Am I playing double duty? I guess you'll have to be there to find out. But it is going to be a long night for me. Goldfinger and MxPx doing a headlining show for MxPx. Takes a lot out of me, but we'll see what happens. Come find out. Can I do it? I think I got faith in myself. Do you have faith in me? All right. Get those tickets. Thank you all. Appreciate you. Of course, the merch arsenal, vinyl, like you just saw, hoodies, T-shirts, a bunch of other crazy things like steak seasoning. So good. You can use this on any kind of meat, chicken, vegetables. It's really good. I know I feel like I'm on the hawking it on the HGTV network or something, or like the cooking channel, but this stuff really is awesome. So we still have some of that. And we actually had to already order more. So we're already on our second batch and we still have a few, but don't wait. It's going to be out again and we'll see. We'll see. As long as we can keep getting it, we're going to keep supplying it into the store because people like it. So let's get to it. I got a letter. I'm going to read you a real letter, and then we'll get to some music from you guys. If you want to submit music to Music Monday, it always happens right after I release one. I get a bunch more submissions, but that's cool. Just submit me a note, where you're from, band name, song, where you're from, anything else you want to put in there, and then YouTube link. Send a YouTube link, not a Spotify link, not a whatever link. It's a YouTube link. That's how I get the song and I get the video, and I'll play it on the YouTube version. So if you're not already watching this on YouTube, if you do watch on YouTube anything else, you might as well watch the podcast on YouTube. I could use a few more viewers over there, but I get it. It's a long show to be watching. So, but Music Monday is the best time to be watching. You get to see the videos. You get to see how everything actually looks and what's actually happening. So here I am. I'm actually reading a letter on a piece of paper. So here we go. Hello, Mike, Yuri, Tom, and Chris. I hope this letter finds you and finds its way to you and finds you doing well. Sorry, I got to pay attention and put my reading brain on now. Here we go. Get some coffee. All right, here we go. My name is Jason, and I live in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I wanted to take the opportunity to reach out and write to you and hopefully begin to express the appreciation and gratitude I have for you and your music. Your music has been such a wonderful part of my life soundtrack, and it has brought me so much happiness and joy. I'm thankful for it. I hope it comes through in this letter. Thank you. Thank you, Jason. All right, back to Jason. I'm trying to recall what my first introduction to your work was. You certainly were very present in my musical circles during the late 1990s and early 2000s. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Slowly Going the Way of the Buffalo would have been the first album of yours I listened to. Some of my favorite songs of yours, though, would have to be Responsibility, I'm Okay, You're Okay, Tomorrow's Another Day, Wrecking Hotel Rooms, Say Yes, Play It Loud, Next Big Thing, Get With It, and my very favorite, My Life Story. I feel so fortunate to have enjoyed your music through so many years. How about you guys? Do you have any personal favorite songs you have written? Are there any songs you especially enjoy performing live in concerts? What have been some of your favorite memories and moments you've had so far in your career? Is there anyone you would especially like to work with or collaborate with in the future? Okay, there's a few more paragraphs of the letter, but I'll go ahead and answer these questions. All right, so how about you guys? Do you have any personal favorite songs you've written? I would say most recently, my favorite song that I've written is Stay Up All Night. That song is just, it's timeless. It feels like it could have been written, for our Teenage Politics album or something, So it's got enough punk and weirdness to it, but it's got a real pop sensibility and emotion to it. I just feel like it's just a special song. And when I remember when I wrote that riff, I was like, this is something. This is cool. This is a cool riff. This is gonna be a good song. I have to make sure this is a good song. So, as the lights go down around us, that was the first line I wrote, and it just felt timeless to me. Another song, Moments Like This, has a personal sort of thing to it. It's about me thinking about my life and thinking about what it's going to be like when I'm gone with my kids, with my family. It's kind of it's kind of sad, but it's also something to take and be sad happy, because we're not gone yet. We still have our life to live, and we have memories to make. And that's what Moments Like This is really trying to make you realize is, hey, you're not dead yet. We could die at any time. We're not promised tomorrow. So make the most of that with your family, with your friends, with your whoever you're in contact with, Man. Call your mom, call your dad, make it happen. So those are a couple of my favorites. Are there any songs you especially enjoy performing live in concert? I could take the easy way out and say, again, Stay Up All Night, because I do enjoy doing that one. But I really enjoy Not Today, even though sometimes it's terrifying, because if I miss one little thing on the lyric, on the verses, I'm not doing those lyrics right, because you get into this sort of rhythm because it's so fast, and I'm sure that maybe freestylers do this or whatever, but like you have to get into a zone, and getting into that zone right off the bat sometimes doesn't happen. Like I've definitely messed up Not Today at least once. I messed it up once. I remember the show. It was last year, and it was just because I was thinking about how cool everything. I was like, oh, it sounds good already. Like we were just on the intro of the song, and I was like, bum bum, and then I was just like, man, it sounds big, and I just had this like burst of energy and thoughts and happiness, and then all of a sudden we're into the song, and I wasn't ready. I wasn't like, what's the first line of the song? Because usually it just happens. But if I'm thinking, it happens automatically. But if I'm thinking about something else and I'm like putting my attention on something else, then sometimes it doesn't automatically switch back over. my brain with lyrics and with the singing. So most of the time it does, like I said, but I have messed it up one time, and now I'm like keenly aware that it is so easy to get distracted. And but that's one of my favorites. I would say, I would say, I mean, Let's Ride was at the very beginning of when we were talking about the self-titled album and putting it out and what the songs were going to be. We came up with Let's Ride, and it was hard for me to play it and sing it. It was hard because it is a weird rhythm, and even though I wrote the song, I don't know. I don't always play it like I'm going to play it in MxPx when I'm writing it. You know what I mean? I can kind of do other things. I can play the guitar part, like dun, 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 whatever. So like when it came to really playing it on the bass guitar and singing it, it was not easy for me. And I told Tom Chichilla, our manager, I said, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play this live. You know, and because we were talking about Let's Ride being the single, a possible single, as well as Friday Tonight, Let's Ride, and I guess those were the two. It was between those two for a single, and it just happened to be Let's Ride was ready. The video was ready. We were ready to go with it, and so we released that, and it just, that was the one. But I just remember being like, I don't know if I can play this live. And it gets a little, like if we don't play it forever, like the first time playing it back in practice is a little rusty. And it's not just me, it's everybody. It's because it's a song that needs a lot of feeling, a lot of feel and just vibe. So I love playing that one now, even though it started out as something I was kind of scared to do. So there are songs like that are like, okay, this one, I don't know, I always screw this up, or you know, my voice hates playing this song or whatever. But there's been songs like that I've shied away from in the past, and then last year I just started embracing, and we started doing those songs more and more live, and I've conquered my fear of doing those songs. And so, you know, I feel like I'm still getting better and better live, and as a songwriter and as a communicator, and you know, it's slow gradual production, but it's actually producing positive results. So, you know, whatever my, you know, I'm nowhere near a perfect person. I'm not a perfect person. Name that song. And everybody knows that, you know. I think that's partly what's endearing about MxPx is I talk about some of my faults in the songs. I'm talking about emotional subjects in songs, and even songs that are silly have some deeper meaning to them sometimes, you know, if you really care to think about it. But that's, you know, it's neither here nor there. That was a long answer for you, my friend. Next question was, what have been some of your favorite memories and moments you've had so far in your career? I mean, I just was talking about some of them, you know. Let's Ride, being on Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and kind of being part of that club finally. You know, it's silly to say club, even because there's a lot of people that aren't part of the club, and I don't want to make them feel bad either, because MxPx has always been an underdog. We've been an outsider. We've been on the outs, as far as you felt like it anyway. And I don't think people see us as that, but we feel like we're outsiders because we're not from Southern California. We're not from Los Angeles. We're not from San Francisco. We're not from down where all the punk bands that were big, Descendants, Bad Religion, Black Flag, they're all from California. So we always feel like, you know, outsiders coming in and busting up the party, right? Even Pennywise, from being from Orange County, you know, they kind of ruled that scene, right? Like, but now that we, you know, we're no longer the underdogs, and we are, even though we're still not from California, we have made so much progress as a band. We have proven ourselves over and over and over that we are contenders. We are as good, if not better, than everyone else out there. Okay, well, that's all subjective, right? But what I mean is we hold our own. We don't sound like a copy of somebody else. We sound like MxPx. And I think that's what sets really the biggest punk bands apart is the Descendants sound like themselves. And NoFX sounds like NoFX. And Bad Religion sounds like Bad Religion. And I think MxPx, even when we play a Bad Religion style song or whatever, that's still our style. Like, what is Tomorrow's Another Day a Bad Religion style song? No, it's an MxPx punk song. And I think we've continued to do that over and over. Not today. What is that ripping off? Everybody, but also it's our own style. Like, nobody does it like us, right? And I think nobody does it like Blink the way they do it, right? Nobody does it like Bad Religion the way they do it. But it's the voice, it's the guitar riffs, it's the writing, it's the lyrics, it's everything. So, I'm proud of all of what we've accomplished, especially lately. I think about, like, people think, when you had your peak in the 90s, the late 90s or whatever, I'm like, that wasn't a peak. That was our first peak. That was like a foothill, and we just kept going. And sure, there were some valleys. Yep, Napster times, bootleg times. There were some valleys, but we've climbed back up. And here we are. We're higher than ever. So a lot of people talk about those late 90s, early 2000s shows that were selling out. But those venues are the same venues we're doing now that we're selling out. If not, we're doing bigger venues now. We never did the Palladium back in the day by ourselves, headlining. We always did it co-headlining. And so, like, things like that, when you translate, it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. So I'm definitely proud of that. And the whole team is responsible for putting in the work, not just myself. Big shout out to Tom Chichilla. Big shout out to Brad. Big shout out to Mark. Big shout out to the whole band, our road crew, MxPx road crew, the Merch Arsenal crew. Thank you all. Love you. Trey, he's killing it. These people just put in a lot of work. So I appreciate the whole MxPx family making it happen. Let's see. One more question. Is there anyone you would especially like to work or collaborate with in the future? In the past I would have said like Elvis Costello. That would still be cool. That definitely could still happen. He's alive, but nothing really comes to mind. I think we go, and when we have the idea, boom, you try to make it happen. So I'm open to a lot of different collaborations. We always talk about, like, we should collab on this and have a bunch of people sing on our record. And ultimately, I feel like unless it's like a song that was written with somebody or for somebody, which we definitely do that, or if it's a song that just lends itself to a guest, that's awesome. I love doing that. But ultimately, I don't want to overdo that on an album, because when I listen to other people do that, it gets old real fast. I like a couple features and that's it. Because after that, you just want to hear what this band or this group or this artist can come up with. But if it's a 24/7 collab, maybe it should be called, This and Friends or something, you know what I mean? So that's my little opinion on collabs and features, is like, it gets to be too much when you don't ever actually hear the lead singer singing anything. But I like doing that for a couple songs, and even so much where the lead singer isn't starting the song, like have the guest vocalist sing most of the song even. I think that's cool because it's something different. But if you get that for every song, do you want that? It's like too much of a good thing, right? I don't know. All right, so that's the questions. Let's get back to Chris's letter. He says, you guys are so incredibly talented and skilled and have great chemistry. You have such a captivating energy and pull listeners fully into your music. You take listeners on an exciting journey and rock so hard. Thank you for how much of yourselves you pour into every song. It's very apparent and appreciated. Thank you, Chris, man. You should start writing our bios, right? Or just start writing news articles and reviews for our albums. Would appreciate that. All right, I'm going to continue. Back to Chris. As you've no doubt noticed, I've included a couple photos with this letter with the hopes you might be willing to sign them and return them to me. I've added a return stamped envelope with postage for mailing back to Canada for convenience. If you don't mind, it would be so special as a longtime fan of yours to have a memento of a shared interaction, even at distance, would mean a lot to me. All right, Chris, I'll do it. All right. Thank you in advance for your kindness and consideration, and thank you for taking the time to read this letter. Thank you for sharing your music and talent with the world. Thank you for so much music I have enjoyed so much. Thank you for being a part of my life's mixtape. I appreciate you, and I'm excited for all you will continue to do and create in the years to come. Take care and have a great tour, and please come to Edmonton someday soon. Would love to welcome you here. I wish you guys all the very best things in 2026. Your fan, Jason. Jason, that was nicely, very eloquently written. I appreciate your letter. Thank you for sending. Very cool. Speaking of, last week I was talking about the All-Stars. He sent this bio, but he also sent a picture of MxPx All-Stars with the guys from Europe. One of the lineups. So crazy. Thank you for doing that. And much love to those guys because, they really put in a lot of work and we traveled together a lot too. So it was awesome. All right. That was a nice letter. I'll get this signed, put it back in the mail to you. I'll have the other guys sign it too. Why not? We can do that, right? Sure. We could do that. All right, getting to Music Monday. Before we get to the actual submissions, I got a Seedings Greetings card from First Natural. They've been on the podcast. Curtis Duell and Philip Trapp. They're from Scottsdale, Arizona. First Natural is the name of their band. And they sent CDs again, which they did last time as well. So thank you for sending. This is the best of First Natural. So I thought I would just go ahead and play a little bit of it. Here we go.
It was late, I was alone, far away from my parents' home. It was you, I was walking to my darling, and back then worlds were much different with no lights, no sidewalk, cement for no shoes. You were there, weren't you, my darling? It's one, check it out. You could be anywhere, anywhere. It's hard to go far, but if you're with someone.
I like it. It's lush. It's indie pop vibes. It's cool. This song's called Walking Several Miles. Yeah, I just enjoy hearing what you guys come up with and how creative you guys can get. It's not always about having the best crafted song. It's really just an expression, of who you guys are. So thank you for sending it in the mail. That's pretty cool. Next up, we got videos, by the way. Some are videos, some are just covers. But the second one, but the first submission is from Brock Jeffries. He says, "Hey Mike, would love for you to check out our latest track." And these guys have been on the podcast. They've been on Music Monday before. They're called DieNasty, and maybe they're called Belgravia, actually. It's hard to tell sometimes, but here we go.
Doctor, can you help me take away this aching pain? There's a supermassive black hole in my stomach cavity. I'm on left on my kidneys just so long as I can sleep. Cut my tongue out, take my eyeballs, there's no future if I can see. Call the surgeon, have them open me up, freeze my nerve, anything to cope with the loss of the person who's never close up. Only
Belgravia, DieNasty, what's up? Thanks for sending it in. Thank you for submitting again. I don't know where you guys are from because I forgot. That's why I like to have it each time you put a submission in, you know. But dig it, man. No complaints here. It's got a good vibe to it. It's got, I could tell you guys are just jamming on your riffs and like got some good melodies. It's cool. Thanks for submitting. All right, next up we have Andy Cope. Hey, Mike. Andy, the drummer of the Disorderlies. Out of the Disorderlies, the video for one of our new track called Get Up. There's a virtual reality skit going on, but I know time's limited, so the song starts at 40 seconds. Hope you like it. We'll be back in Bremerton soon. Thanks, Mike. Hey, dude, thank you for letting me know that the song starts in 40 seconds, because you know what? Not everybody's watching the YouTube version, and so they don't see that there's like this intro happening. So yeah, we like to just get to it, get straight to it. So let me get to it. Let me find 40 seconds in. Oh, here we go. All right. 39. Level 1 weeknight show. It's like a video game reality, virtual reality thing happening. Here we go. The Disorderlies, Get Up. I get it. Very cool. Hey, you know, right away, it's just a fun vibe. You know, if you're watching the video, they're in a bar doing a show, but it's like a pizza parlor kind of vibe type bar. Bass player is ripping, by the way. I like the song. It's got, you know, this chick is the singer, and she's like punk and looks cool. So yeah, you guys got a good look. Your drummer looks like a drummer. What does that mean? I don't know. Yeah, man. Good job, you guys. I like the fact that you guys are just jamming, and you got a bunch of friends that are just doing circle pits, and it just looks fun. It looks fun. All right, well done, bass player. By the way, looks like you're ripping. Next up, we got what do we got? Andrew Sapien. Hey, Mike Herrera, this is Andrew from the band Your Honor. Just wanted to say thank you again for having us. For giving us a shot with our first song, Wasted Time. We really appreciated the feedback, especially your note about keeping intros shorter. We took that to heart moving forward, and it's generally helped sharpen our songwriting. We'd love to submit our latest single, Red Dress, for Music Monday. It's our most popular track to date, and if you want to jump right to the chorus, it hits at about 120. We'd be stoked for you to check it out and let us know what you think. Thanks again for the support and for giving bands like us a space to be heard. Andrew, Your Honor. Okay, chorus at 120. Let me see how it goes. Let me just play. As long as it starts right away, I'll just play it until the chorus, through the chorus. But thank you for the context there, and thanks for giving this a shot. Let's check it out. Red Dress by Your Honor. Here we go.
Of Las Vegas, I saw you walking by. I saw you in a red dress. I thought I should have said hi, but I didn't. Should have said hi. Walking by. Should have said hi. are strangers, still you're on my mind. I turned around but you were fading. Guess I ran out of time to say hi. Should've said I. Should've said something, should've made a move. Now you're just a shadow in the neon blues. One chance, one night, I let it slip by. Now I'm stuck here, wonder why I didn't say hi. Should've said something, should've made a move. Now you're just a shadow in the neon blues. One chance, one night, I let it slip by. Now I'm stuck here, wonder why I didn't say hi.
All right. Hey, good job, man. It's got something to it. You know, it's such a simple kind of idea, but then you just keep reiterating the idea and it gets in your head, and congratulations. I'm glad that it's your number one track. Yeah, I mean, a lot of songs, I've written plenty of songs where you two verse before you ever get to the chorus, like two verses with a riff in between, pre-chorus and the chorus. In this case, you almost went like verse one, riff, verse two, pre-chorus, riff, like half a riff or something, and then you go into the chorus, which is the same part as the verse, which I like. I like sort of you reiterating the same part, but then the pre-chorus is different. That really works. It really works. And, pick and choose when you do that, and it really hits, I think, even harder. So good job, you guys. Well done. Music Monday submission. My name is Nick, and I wanted to share my newest single from my band, NiTEWAKE. I am currently living in Dayton, Ohio. I am the founding bassist for the band Attack Attack, but I have been playing guitar and singing for a while, which is what I do in NiTEWAKE. Thank you for listening. Nick, I've definitely heard of Attack Attack. Cool band. And I've heard of NiTEWAKE. Have you been on before? I'm not sure. This one's called Lantern by NiTEWAKE. Okay, Nightwear, Lantern. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the song. Thank you for sending that in. They're from Dayton. I wonder if it's just you. Like, let me look back at this. Is it just you on everything, or is it a band? You play guitar and sing. Cool. Yeah, man. It's like, I was trying to think, like when the riff came in and stuff, it was really cool, like a neo-punk, electro-punk technical thing happening. I really dig that sound. And then I definitely wasn't expecting the vocal to be that sort of like, I don't know if new wave is really even the way to describe it, but it's got something sort of vintage to it, in a cool way. Yeah, just keep writing songs, keep developing, keep recording, keep making it happen. I think there's something like there's a lot of tension in that recording. I feel like I don't know if it's the recording or if it's the song, the chords you're playing, but it had me like at a heightened awareness in a weird way. I don't even know what that means. We got one more, and this is a guy I know. This is Ryan Keenel. And he says, he said, Monday, new music submission for you. And let me start that over. Let me focus on the words so I can say them. All right, this is from Ryan. Monday, new music submission for you, Mike Herrera. First new Matchbook romance song in 20 years. My God. Ryan, you wrote that in a really hard way to read, but I'm going to read it again. Monday, new music submission for you, Mike Herrera. First new Matchbook romance song in 20 years, just dropped on Friday. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Thanks, bud. Matchbook romance, something worse than the night. Now, these guys are on Epitaph, and they're submitting to my podcast, which is awesome. So let's check out what they pulled together after so many years. Here we go. All right, you guys. That's cool. And I want to play the whole song, but it's really long. It's 4:41. Hey, this sounds like classic Matchbook romance. Right away, I was like, okay, yeah, we're going on a journey. There's some serious proggy-ass bass happening here, which is kind of what, I mean, this fits right in the wheelhouse of what you guys do, Matchbook romance. I never could understand a lot of your songs because I am such a Ramones style songwriter. So like hearing you guys write some of this stuff and how it all comes together and weaves together is just like, whoa, you better sit down and chill and just take it all in. You know, this is definitely music that's it's got a lot of layers, and hey, I like it. I instantly like that bass line. It's very cool. It surprised me when you guys started into the song, which I think is cool too, because you know I can't ever guess what you guys are gonna do next. You know, even though, like I said, it fits right into your wheelhouse of what you guys have done. I dig. Thank you for submitting. Thank you for sending. Everybody go check out the new Matchbook romance. It's called Something Worse Than the Night. And I can only imagine what that is. But I wish you guys the best. And Ryan, much love to you. Always a pleasure. I'm going to have Ryan on the podcast. We can talk more about the song and talk about what he's been up to. Ryan is the bass player. So, all right, that's it. I could talk about the Seattle Seahawks and how we're going to the Super Bowl and how pumped I am. I am so excited about it. But I don't like talking about big games before the big games. I like to just let the energy be. I have my own way of dealing with this stuff. I get it. I get that anxiety. I get the worry. But then I let it go, and I just, it's going to be an amazing game. I can't wait. I really can't wait. Seattle Seahawks, New England Patriots. Call in. Let me know what you think. The number is 360-830-6660. Who are you rooting for in the Super Bowl? Let me know. All right. Aside from that, of course, MxPx.com. We got a bunch of shows coming up in March on the East Coast. Can't wait to see you guys there. And then we have Denver coming up April 11th at the something ballroom, Mission Ballroom, MxPx Goldfinger, Zebrahead, and Homegrown. So rad. We have vinyl, we have hoodies, we have socks, we have PXPX plushie for you and your kids. We have dog tags, we have a bottle opener, keychains. We got a bunch of stuff like that because you guys ask for it and we make it, and then it sits in the store because 3 people buy a keychain. I'm sure. I have no idea who's buying keychains, to be honest. Maybe they're almost sold out. We have pins. We have bikinis for the ladies that love bikinis and love summertime. We have bikinis. We have towels. We have crossbody clear bags for going to festivals. The whole 9 yards. Coloring books. Wild times at MxPx.com, you guys. All right. That's it. Thanks for listening to Music Monday. Thank you for submitting. Appreciate you guys. Like always, hey, let me know what you got. You can let me know on the My Career Facebook podcast group. That's also where you submit your Music Monday YouTube links and all that. So that's the best way to comment, to get a message across to me. Just go to the Facebook. And if you don't have Facebook, then Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, then comment on the YouTube comment section of the episode. There you go. Boom. I laid it all out. And if you still don't know where to go, MxPx.com. All right. Peace to Bob McKnight, my producer. Thank you for your time. Thanks for making it happen each and every week. Even when he tells me he doesn't have time to do it, he still does it. So I appreciate you, my friend. All right. Peace.